Well, joining me now on rockposer.com is none other than vocalist from the phenomenal band Junkyard. Joining me on the line now, all the way from the States, is Mr. David Roach. Welcome to rockposer.com.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, a long-time fan. I suppose I better get that out of the way, first of all. It's great that you guys are back, all guns blazing, new album coming out, and you're coming back over to the UK.
Yeah, it's we were hoping we would get over there. I didn't think it would happen this soon, but we're very excited about getting back there.
Well, of course, you're coming over for the Hair Metal Heaven Festival in Hull. The lineup is absolutely phenomenal. There's a few bucket list bands on that list, to say the least. I think you guys are much anticipated by the people going.
Great. Well, that's good news. Can't wait to play.
It is indeed. So tell us about the new album. Obviously, High Water is coming out on Acetate Records very, very shortly. Obviously, the pre-order, because I believe it's a limited edition, is already in place.
I'm probably the wrong person to ask the business questions, but I believe they had a limited number of vinyl copies.
Really?
That were for sale, and then but they'll be it'll be on iTunes and CD, I believe. The usual stuff.
So what was the catalyst to get you guys back together and recording again?
Well, we've been playing. For the last 10 years, we've gone to Spain 3 or 4 times, and done some flyouts, in different cities in America, but only a handful a year. But it was always fun, and we always enjoyed it. And we were approached about 3 years ago about doing another record, and it's taken a lot of. There was a lot of setbacks, and finally, during that time, we'd been writing songs and trying to come up with material, and it all came together with Acetate.
Well,
we had a couple of offers that didn't pan out, and so we got excited about it, and it was like a carrot dangling in front of us that we were chasing for a couple of years there, and but it finally came together with Acetate.
Well, obviously, there's quite a few bands from, I guess people will say, the late 80s, early 90s era who have made this comeback and releasing new material, which for fans like myself is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know how many of these bands, because we play with a lot of this same kind of, dozen bands at the festivals here in America, at least. I don't keep up, so I don't know who's got new material or not. I know that Rhino Bucket, they're friends of ours, they have a new album coming out. But I'm afraid I'm out of the loop a little bit, and I don't really know who's putting new things out, or who's just kind of doing the reunion thing and playing their old material.
Well, of course, a lot of bands are doing the reunion thing, and of course, something that is immensely popular is the Monster Rock cruises. The lineup for those are absolutely fantastic. I did one a couple of years ago and thoroughly enjoyed it.
We've never done that before, and we were a little hesitant, but the lineup for this one that we're doing next spring or whenever it is, it's great. It's Mike Monroe and DAD. And I can't remember who else, but some great, cool bands. So it should be fun.
It is fun. It's great from the point of view also that most of the bands sort of mix with the fans as well, and it's a real sort of laid-back atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Junkyard is a band. We've always done that anyway. We try to make ourselves accessible to the fans. They're your bread and butter. They're your people. And if you spend some time with them, then it's good for everybody.
It's unfortunately some of the very big bands forget that particular thing and do this ridiculous thing of trying to charge fans just to meet them and get a signature, which for me, I just think that's absolutely mental, where most bands, as you say, are quite happy to come out at the end of the performance and just mingle with the fans and just enjoy the fact that people have turned up to see them.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of gratitude there, I've never had the problem of being so successful that I grew tired of talking to fans. It's always been a pleasure, you know.
One thing, I mean, it's when you come over, I say to Hair Metal Heaven, this will be the first chance I get to see you because, unfortunately, due to job circumstances, I missed it when you guys came over. And, of course, you were supporting, I believe it was the Almighty when you just came over to the UK.
Mm-hmm, right. Yeah, like 91 or something, 90 or 91. Yeah, well, you missed us in our prime, but we're still, 25 whatever years after the fact. It's still the same Junkyard, same energy, same attitude. We're just a little older now.
Does that not scare you when you start to realise how many years it's been?
Does it scare me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that was 25 years ago. I remember when I was a kid, you listened to Elvis Presley or something, and that was 20 years ago at the time. And I'm thinking, well, Elvis was a dinosaur now, you know. And looking back now at my career, now we're been around for 25 years and we're dinosaurs. I never thought, I'd be doing it this late in life, but it's what I do, you know. I love it.
So what sort of, apart from festivals, do you play anywhere else in the States? Do you sort of play the local club scene still?
Yeah, we do. I mean, there's a circuit in America where the same, you see the same kind of like it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. You go to you tour the same clubs where, LA Guns were 2 weeks ago, or Stephen Piercy's Rat was there, or is going to be there next week. That kind of mid-level crowd, capacity venues. So we do those on, we have day jobs, so we do weekend flyouts. We'll play a couple of cities on the weekends, then come back to our real lives.
Well, I was going to say, let's face it, most musicians work for a living these days. They don't sit back on their royalties by a long stretch. Right.
No. That's a happy little surprise when that comes in the mail.
Do you see much in the way of sort of streaming royalties? Is it something that you deal with directly, or do you have it to come through a record company first?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm the wrong person to ask about business. I know, I get a check from BMI a couple, quarterly or whenever, a couple times a year, and it fluctuates. It might be $400 or $500, or it might be $150, and some of it's Sirius radio, and some of it's airplays, random. I don't know where it comes from, but it's not a great deal of money. But I guess
I mean one of the sort of the big sort of helps for getting your name out there back in the late 80s was, of course, was MTV, which of course it doesn't stand for music television anymore by a long stretch. But of course, I mean, your videos were on such a tight rotation. They were on all the time. I mean, that's how I discovered you as a band. Seeing I don't know how many times I watched the Simple Man video over and over again, I guess.
Right. Well, I guess that's what they did back then. If somebody got, they would really push them hard for a few weeks or whatever, a few months. Yeah, that was the venue. That was the way to be seen back then. And now everything's on YouTube, or getting liked by. I don't understand the business anymore.
Who does?
I leave that up to my drummer or people like that are better suited for that kind of thinking.
That's probably a very wise decision, because let's face it, I don't think anybody understands the music business anymore.
Well, plus the less I know, the better it is for me. I think it would just depress me if I knew how this really worked. I'm just grateful to be able to get up there and have anybody even, care. Anyway, it's great that there's still people interested.
Well,
so I'm going to milk it for a couple more years while I can still move around up there.
Well, I don't think this will be the last time you're coming over to the UK. I mean, there are plenty of festivals over here now which are grabbing bands which you probably be still playing out. I mean, LA Gun just played last weekend here at a festival. So that there is definitely the market here and in Europe. So I guess
right. We've been dying to get on that circuit, and now that we have a new product, hopefully we can start making some noise and get invited to those festivals. That's what I mean. Like I said, we've been to Spain many times, but we haven't been able to break out through the rest of England or anywhere else yet.
So what is it about Spain that's kept dragging you back? Is the scene there in Spain just the So Good festival wise?
Pardon me? Is the scene in Spain?
Is the festival scene in Spain just so good then? The reason you keep going back there?
I don't know. We played one festival there in 2003, I believe, the Z Series Festival, I believe it was so.
Okay.
And we just got a lot of exposure at that festival, so we got invited back to do clubs there.
Oh, right, okay.
A few times. So we were playing, places that held anywhere from 200 people to 500 people,
I guess, the size of venues has reduced for some bands, but I say, thankfully, it hasn't stopped bands going back out on the road, and playing. And all I can say is I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play at Hair Metal Heaven. It is a tick off my bucket list, that's for certain.
Oh, great. Glad we could help out.
Well, David, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Good luck with the new album. I'll repeat again, it is entitled High Water, and it is out on Acetate Records. It's great that you've got a new album out. I
Thank you.
Shall be looking for it with bated breath and looking forward to hearing what the new tunes are like.
Great. Appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it.
David, thanks very much indeed.
All right, well, give me a holler when we're over on your side of the world.
I certainly will.